Oh shit. What is up, gents? Greatknight dude here. We did it. So we had our first 16-person tournament, 3 rounds, 3 hours each, and Greatknights won. Let's go. So first tournament back in like 8 years. So appreciate you clicking on the video if you did. You're either a 40k fan, you're a tournament player, or you like the Greatknights, and the Greatknights are freaking awesome. So we're going to go over the day. I wasn't able to record. That would be ridiculous going to a tournament. We are, though, talking to another store of streaming. So we're going to try and set up a Twitch stream next weekend on the 4th. That's going to be another tournament. It's in Palladium. 45 minutes for me, but Pennsylvania, East Coast, if you guys are there, I'll see you there. But we just played at Alternate Universes. It's technically my home store. I play there every Monday. But we did set up a home base in my garage, which if anybody is interested, and you live anywhere near Philadelphia, and you like to take a drive, we can meet up, we can go play a game, we can record it, we can post it, we can do whatever. That's a shout out to anybody who wants to get some games in. We did meet up with a Necron player who found my YouTube channel, found out he actually is a local guy, and we met up and we played our first bunker match in the garage. So I have to post that video. It was Necron's awesome dude, super nice. But today we're going to go over, we have 3 matches. We're going to go over each match. We're going to go over kind of pictures. I didn't take a ton of pictures, but I'm going to talk out what happened. We're going to go over the points, and also I'm going to go over my list at the very end. So all the Greatknight players get to see what I used. And also, you can trash it however much you want to trash it. I did win. It was fun. Yeah, so let's get into it. First off, we'll go over the pictures. So the first picture we have, let's put this down. There we go. So these are the pictures. I didn't, as the day went on, I took fewer and fewer pictures because I was just getting tired and more tired. I'm exhausted. I literally was standing around for 10 hours. The tournament, Jack at Alternate University, he runs a great show. Everybody wearing masks. You didn't have to, but it was recommended. Some people didn't have masks on, but there's this one guy there who plays, and he's autoimmune. So basically, if you're playing against him, you have to wear a mask. So it was a fun time. We got lunch right after the first round, but the first round was against Death Guard. So I have the tournament pulled up on my last screen that I'm going to show you. We're going to go over the points and lists and stuff like that. But the first is Death Guard. This was against an old-time player, Tyler. He basically, we used to play way back when at the old store when I was playing 8 years ago, and finally we met up again, and we started playing again. So it was Greatknights versus Death Guard. First time I ever played against Death Guard. So I was scared shitless. I didn't know anything and they did. I knew they were super tough. They had Mortarion and all that stuff. So if you're looking at this, the setup was the circle. So let me see if I can get the thing. It was the circle. 2 half circles, like there was a big circle in the middle, and then you set up the deployment on one corner, and I set up on the other corner. So that deployment, the 4 objectives we had, and then we used our new objectives, so you could see those. Greatknight dude. But we had, basically I set up all my guys as far forward as they possibly can go. I believe he went first. Yeah, so he went first. I basically jumped. All right, so I guess I should tell you my list. I had 3 squads of interceptors, so they jumped 12. I had 4 squads of strikes. Drago, Greatknight, crazy, I'm tired. Greatknight, Grandmaster, and a Librarian. So those are my 3 HQs, troops, fast attack, and then we had 3 heavy support of these guys, and we had 1 interceptor squad coming in deep strike with 2 incinerators. So basically, I would just try and control the board with all 5-man units. So the jump squad came in. They were just jumping in 12 inches. The strike squads walked up. These guys kind of came over and charged. Dreadknight were moving up. And then this is him. So he had 3 of these tanks, which are ridiculous. Like, they just don't need line of sight whatsoever. He had a Demon Prince, and then he had those Walker guys. There's a unit of 3 of them. They're like toughness 7. The whole Nurgle army is -1 damage, which is ridiculous. So and then he had a couple HQ guys behind this building and a whole bunch of zombies kind of on both sides. So in this matchup, it really just came down to smites. So again, this is the first time I used played against Nurgle, and Nurgle does, I guess the best way to kill him is with mortal wounds. So we casted a lot of Vortexes of Dooms. We had Librarian who had it, but Drago on turn 1, he had it. So he casted Vortex of Doom. We casted Smites. We casted the Flame spells. Like everything that I could possibly cast on this army, we casted and basically kind of killed it. So the next picture, I think I took 3 of this one. So this picture goes that we had our Grandmaster, who is right there, that blue guy. That's my Grandmaster. He's like kitted out. He's got the bit thing that you could buy off Etsy, and you kind of like put it over the baby carriage. So that's there. The Purifier is up the top here. They deep struck up here. Squad of Interceptors right next to them. And then there's 2 strike squads right there left, which they're about to get assaulted by these Plague Marines right here. So I think we killed the tank. All that's left over here is the 3 dudes that took me literally 4 turns to finally kill. Their toughness 7, like 9 wounds. They have melta guns, like they are ridiculous. They're behind this building. So they killed like 2 or 3 squads. Drago died. He was right here. He dropped in 5 Terminator Scythes guys from the Nurgle. And they dropped in. They shot Drago, didn't really do any damage, but then they killed Drago. So they charged Drago, killed Drago. So basically there's a squad of 5 Terminator here, which I moved everybody around. Librarian is all the way at the bottom left here. You can't really see him because I'm in the way. Let me move me. That's not me. There we go. So right there at the bottom of the screen, this is the Librarian. He teleported in. He casted Vortex of Doom. He spent 1 CP. He got an extra 6-inch range, so he cast Vortex of Doom. He cast Purify Flame. He had the Warlord trait, which gives me 1 extra mortal wound for Witchfire spells. So basically he was doing 2d3 plus 1, plus the splash damage, and then he was doing Purify Flame, which is 3 straight mortal wounds, plus 1 more damage. So literally, just Libby by himself just annihilated most of those people. Drago actually used the 2 CP stratagem where he actually gets to attack before he gets taken off the table. It's like a character trait. So I wasn't going to interrupt because I couldn't interrupt, but he killed him like easily. And then Drago did his 2 things and took 2 of them with him. So I think that was worth it to get at least something out of Drago before he died. Before he died, also, we changed the warp to Nemesis weapons. So Nemesis weapons, mortal wounds on a 6, and extra 6 inches for the psi weapons. So that's what he changed before he died. So he got a little bit back from that. And then this one is basically this tank all the way to the right here, got into my zone in the objective. There's nobody really left on the other side of the building. The Dreadknights are still kind of walking around. All he had left were 2 spawn. The HQ dude, there was another HQ behind this building. This tank and this Demon Prince. So by the end of the game, I believe, all right, so that's the next game. By the end of the game, we wound up having a Just Guard in the zone, which I periled and killed myself. So we didn't get that zone, but we had all the other zones. These 2 were dead. So basically all he had left were, I think, 2 HQ. And that was it. And I felt bad because Tyler's such a nice guy, such a fun guy to play. But we basically tabled him besides those 2 HQ. And we actually won that first game 95 points. So 95 to 30. It was rough. It was a tough game for the Plague Death Guard, but I learned a lot from it. So these green things are force, and they're -2 to move. They do the +1 or -1 to hit them if you're shooting through it. All the buildings block line of sight, and if you're in them, you get +1 to save. So that's kind of like how we play this tournament. So that was the first game. That was the second game. We were playing Death Guard. So I got another Death Guard player, but this guy was, I could just tell he was in a lot of tournaments. He knew a lot of the rules. He was just super quick, like knew exactly what he was doing, what his game plan was. But with him, it was just placement and also giving me first turn to kill Typhus. Okay, so this is what happened in this match. It was the Dawn of War deployment where we start on this edge and that edge, long table edges. And we could start with one of these in our zone and the 2 in the middle. I'll try and go over secondaries if you guys remind me at the end. But in this matchup, we did the same thing where we deep struck the interceptors. We deep struck the incinerators, the flame guys, purifiers. We deep struck Librarian. We walked on a squad of troops because I have the redeploy thing. So the Librarian has 30 points. I can redeploy 3 units. I can either redeploy them or put them in a strategic reserve for free. So 1 unit walked on. The other 2 guys redeployed. I think I redeployed my Dreadknights. I just moved them out more so they can actually have line of sight to somebody. And then I walked on one unit. So with this matchup, he put Typhus right here behind this building. So there was a whole squad of Terminators, Plague Terminator dudes. Here, he had 2 squads of Obliterators, which are amazing in Death Guard. Like, I found out they just obliterate Death Knights. One was in a drop pod with an HQ Psyker dude. The drop pod in Death Guard is stupid good. Like, if he flies over you, D3 mortal wounds. He has crazy attacks. I didn't know it. So he had a really cool customization one. Maybe I took a picture. But he deep struck that all the way back in the corner. So he deep struck, Drago's right there, I think. He deep struck back in the corner, took out the Obliterators and the Psyker and put as far in the corner as he possibly could. Drago was here in the building at the time and had a ton of troops and units right here. So he wasn't able to kill Drago. The Obliterators came out, shot these people. I wrote pretty good saves to save some of them, and then he put some other shots into the unit that was on the objective. So he really just wanted to put all of them into Drago, but Drago still had the 3-inch within a unit, so he couldn't target him. And eventually he killed those 2 units. Drago was living. So basically Drago walks back. These guys deep struck within 9 inches of there. I walked on within my deployment zone so I can end within 9 inches of them. So I walked in within like an inch and we just smited the shit out of them. So we did Vortex Doom for Drago. Maybe Librarian came down and did some smites as well. And then smite, purify flame, and then smite, and we basically just charge and kill the Obliterators and the Psyker. So that was that back corner. Now I think let's go back to the beginning of the game. Typhus, he was standing here. I had turn 1. So basically I walked everybody up. I Gate of Affinity Drago to be within +6, 18 inches from Typhus. So he was like right here in the smack dab middle of the table. He spent 1 to boost his range. He spent 1 to roll 3 dice. And he rolled Vortex of Doom and rolled 2 6s. So it was D3 damage. So I just did 3 damage to Typhus on my first smite. And then, or Vortex of Doom, it did splash damage, which it did some, I actually probably forgot the splash damage. Splash damage is supposed to do more. And then he basically just takes Typhus off the table. And I felt bad because I don't know how many, I guess he had 6 wounds and I just rolled a 6. But Typhus on the top of turn 1 was dead. So without Typhus dying, I think it would have been a completely different game. Like if he would have went first, he would have shot the 2 bombardment tanks. He had those and just probably took off a couple dreads or guys. So again, it would have been different, but that's what it did. And then he casted the Tides, where I went into the one where I can cast multiple spells that turn, adding +1. And then he casted a Gate on himself for 1 more CP and then teleported all the way out of the middle of the field. So this freaking sniper came up, did the thing, shot the thing, teleported back. Like it was glorious. What else? These 2 kind of just control the top of the table. These 2 control the bottom of the table. That's my unit there controlling his. This is the end of the game. So basically this was just showing he killed a crap ton of strikes. I killed, there's the drop pod thing. You see that? It's like crazy looking. I don't even know. I guess it's a drop pod, right? Drop pod. So that was awesome. And then I don't know if, and this is the last thing. So this is like how the end of the game was at. Drago was still all the way back here. We had a strike squad on the objective. We had nobody on this objective, but we had this objective in his deployment zone and this objective here. So basically we were just doing all of that. This was his last HQ choice right there. He had the jetpack, so he deep struck up there with more obliterators, and just rolled really bad on my Dreadknight to kill it. And with the 4-up invuln save, like, it's such a huge difference with the 4-up invuln save compared to 5-up invuln save. The Dreadknights having 4-up invuln save, it helped out so freaking much throughout this tournament. So this guy, another really, really good player, super nice. This was the final thing. The matchup was 93 points to our, let me see if, round 1, round 2, Justin. So Justin and then Jesse. Justin had 29. So he had 92 points his first game, but then he had 29 his second game. So that was that. All right, so that was the second game. Now finally the third game. This is how we set up. So third game, guess what, guys? Nurgle. So lucked out that I actually got Nurgle 3 times today. There was 16 players. 16 players. I think there was 3 Nurgle players, which just goes to show that Nurgle is really good. And I played them all. So with the Mortal Wounds, kind of makes it easier because you do... Mortal Wounds is probably one of the best way to kill Nurgle. So learning from the first 2 games against really good players, I finally got into the last game kind of knowing what to do and how to do it, except they didn't have freaking Mortarion, whatever the Primarch is for the Nurgle. He brought him this game, and he is super good, super scary, really, really fast, lots of shit that he could do. They all had the Tally Man, right? The Tally who gets CP points every time he rolls like a 7-up, but nobody could roll 7-up all game. They all had the Mortar tanks. He had the drone guys, but they were the single drone guys with a shit ton of attacks. And this guy had one of the Intempted Dreads in the back that got like a shit ton of shots and any 6s or mortal wounds. No AP, so it's just a ton of shots, but no AP, but any 6s get mortal wounds. So he had one of those in the back. Bunch of characters, bunch of Terminators, and the one guy who every Nurgle dude had where you target somebody and you fight last, and anybody within 6 inches doesn't charge, which is just so busted. Helped out so much in this game. So let's go into this. I had turn 2. Did I have turn 1? I think I had turn 1. No, he must have had... I had turn 2. So he had top of 1. So I redeployed my Dreadknights. I put them in a more defensive position. I put them behind the buildings. And I think I gave him one view. There's a Dreadknight all the way to the left here on the side of the table. There's one Dreadknight that had line of sight that this mortar tank can shoot him and this guy can shoot him. So they could see that guy. Everybody else they couldn't see. This tank couldn't see any of the other guys. And then we had the objectives. So we had 2 objectives here, 2 objectives in the middle, 2 objectives on their side, and deployment was 12 inches up. We put a bunch of guys in the building there, blocked the line of sight. And this one had windows all around it, so I couldn't block line of sight in this thing. But we had Drago here, 2 squads of 5 interceptors and strikes, and then a strike squad over here. And then all the Dreadknights were hiding in the back here at a line of sight. So turn 1, he moves everybody up, does all of his stuff. We actually denied, I think, one of his psychic powers. The other one failed. So he wasn't able to get any psychic powers off. He didn't really need them. Oh, actually, the one -1 to hit on him would have been really good, but he didn't get it off. I think I denied it. I think I rolled 1 extra die, dropped the lowest for a CP, so I denied that power. But what we did, all right, I think he has like 18 wounds or something. He moved up. Everybody was around him. He doesn't have the sack pawn thing where he can shift it to other people. We shot as many freaking shots into this guy as possible. He didn't roll the best. He has a 4-up invuln save. I tried to shunt up my Grandmaster to like right about here in the middle to be within 9 inches of him. And I was like trying to measure out, because he only needs an 8 to charge because he has first of the fray. So I was trying to measure out to try and get a charge on him. But with that minus... you fight last bullshit, I couldn't do it. So basically if I charged him, he would just hit me and I die. So that wasn't a good plan. So I took that back. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna shun. I'm just gonna kind of sit back here. So I really wanted to get the Empyric amplification off, which gives me +1 damage to that model, but I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to spend that much CP to try and do it, so I didn't get it off. And he could have just denied it anyway. So we kind of held back. We had 3 Dreadknights in the back here. One guy all the way back here. I think he has 2 wounds left. I think he survived on 2 wounds somehow. So we have all Dreadknights, my Grandmaster Dreadknight, all the strike squads, literally everything I could possibly do. We smited the crap out of him. We shot the crap out of him, and we left Mortality, whatever the hell his name is, on 1 hitbox. He needed, I saved 1 more time. I was like, all right, you have 1 more save. He rolled a 3, and then he rolled a 5 for the feel no pain, and he saved him with 1 wound left. I was like, oh my god. So I literally wasted everything into him, and he saved him with 1. So what he does next, I think those are all the pictures. What he does next, yeah, I think that was it, yeah. So that was the last picture. Again, I just got tired throughout the whole thing. So let's walk through the end of the game. He moves everybody up. Drones charged this guy. He had to re-roll it. Mortarion moved up. Didn't cast any powers because he had 1 left, so he reparalled. He died. And then he tried to charge. He failed a 5-inch charge. So I felt bad. So the drone got into this Dreadknight. Mortarion failed that. The Terminators failed their 4-inch charge. He rolled a 3. So the Terminators failed to charge, and then his last drone charged my 1 Dreadknight with 2 wounds and my squad of 5 strikes. So how that turn worked was he chose to go with the drone over here first. I had 3 CP left. He did split attack. He did like 3 or 4 attacks into the Dreadknight, and then the rest in the strike. I had 3 strikes remaining, 3 or 2, and I actually saved my 4-up invuln from the attacks from the other thing. So I think I spent 1 CP to re-roll. Re-roll the 1 failed save. So I spent 1 CP to re-roll the failed save, which I made. And then I spent another 2 CP to counter and attack first with this guy at the bottom here. So that was definitely worth it. So I saved my last Dreadknight with 2 attacks. So they basically killed that drone over there because the strikes and the Dreadknight killed it. And this Dreadknight killed this one, like rolled a shit ton of wounds because I think I wounded 3 times. But then I rolled like a 5, 5, 4 or something. And it's -1 damage, but he took 1 from a smite earlier. So it just killed that drone. So basically we killed 2 drones that he charged me for. And he failed a Mortalion charge, which this guy should die. And the Terminators failed the charge on this unit in front of the building. So basically I should have lost the Dreadknight, this squad right here, and this Dreadknight at least. So again, it was just failed charges. I felt bad because this guy, like, one of the nicest dudes I ever played. Super funny. Like that's his dice rolling box. He's got a duct tape on a shoebox lid. Pretty funny. But that was that. So the next turn, we kill Mortarion. We deep struck everybody. So what we did was we deep struck the Purifiers here. We strike squad walked on, I think over here in the middle board, 9 inches away from them. We had another squad deep strike here. So we had 3 5-man squads here on the right side. Then we had 2 squads deep strike over here. And we had 1 more squad deep strike here just to kind of keep this objective. So basically, everybody's on the table. Librarian deep struck right in the middle here where there was 9 inches because all these guys weren't here. Terminators are out here. They killed like 1 squad. So Terminators are here. Mortarion's here, about to die. 2 drones are dead. The other squad of Terminators are here. And all the characters are right here. Plus that guy's all the way in back there. So what happened was the Librarian deep struck. He did 1 CP to extend the range of his spells. And then he did 1 CP to... no, I think he just did 1 CP to extend the spells. So he was able to do D3 Vortex of Doom onto this guy. Did pretty good damage. He also gets +1 mortal wound because he's a Warlord. And also he did the Purify Flame, which did 4 mortal wounds as well to that Dread. So Dread was sitting on like 2 wounds. So Librarian is just sitting there. He's not really doing anything else. Everybody else killed Mortarion. And we did a bunch of mortal wounds into these Terminators. So he lived with 2 Terminators over here. I couldn't get any charges off. I failed these 3 charges. 1 was going to charge there. The rest of them were going to charge these Termies. Failed all of them. These guys were kind of stuck back here, so they didn't really do anything. And then all these guys charged into these Termies. And again, I fight last. So the Terminators killed basically all the strikes over here. I had Drago charge in. So Drago was in the middle of literally 3 Terminators, two captains, and finally he was able to kill Drago. What was left was 2 Terminators, the Tally guy, the Fight Last guy, and the Warlord Terminator Captain guy, his HQ dude. So those are all right here. What I had to do was I literally shot everything I possibly could because I still had 2 or 3 units over here. I had nobody left over here. Drago was there, but Drago died. So all these dreads were casting spells into the Termies, shooting the Termies because they bodyguard. So I literally wind them down to 1 Terminator and the Fight Last guy. And eventually I just killed him to shooting. So all these guys finally die. That dread is dead. The Tallyman died. And then he rolled the last turn to get an extra CP from the Tallyman, and he passed. But then we realized that the Tallyman's dead, so he didn't really get the CP, which was funny. So there's nothing left besides this tank, the 2 Termies wipe out my 5-man squad, but I still have the Purifiers here. This squad's wiped out because the tank just shot him, and there's nobody over here. So how do we have to end this game? This game literally came down to turn 5. We didn't have a lot left on the table. I needed to win all my secondaries. Like, I needed all the secondaries. So the secondary I chose for this one was our ritual one, where if I cast a spell, the 5 on there, it for each one you get 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 3 points for casting. 4 points for casting on 3 of them, and 6 points for casting on 4 of them. So what I had to do was I had to cast 4 of these to get 6 points. I had to be in every zone, which I was, and then I had to kill this last demon thing because I took the other demon thing from our Codex as a secondary. So killing Mortarion, killing the other demon stuff, and then killing these 2 demon tanks or whatever, it maxed me out on the points, which was pretty cool. I never did that one before. And then I think that was it. So I had all fronts. I had the 4 objectives, which I got 6 points, and then I killed all of the things I had to kill because it's an end game objective. And I needed 15 points on the main main mission to do it. So I needed to have 4, which I did, and then that was it. So what really helped in this one was the mobility of the interceptors. The interceptors here, they basically hopped 12. One person was like on this thing just in case I needed to do something. They casted their move, shoot, move. They didn't shoot anything because they didn't have anything to shoot, but then they hopped back on this objective. So basically they went from this side of the table to this side of the table pretty easily. And that was pretty cool to do that late game. Like, oh wait, I need somebody over there. Instead of gating them, let me just move up 12, cast a spell, and then move 12 inches again. That was really good. Having a gate still with my Dreadknight Grandmaster. My Dreadknight Grandmaster wound up over here somehow. We gated the Librarian closer, like over here, so that way he can put Vortex of Doom and Smite and shit into this tank to kind of weaken it a little bit. So we gated the Librarian, who was all the way over here, really slow. Gated him all the way over here. He cast a gate. He spent 1 CP to cast... the Librarian spent 1 CP to cast Vortex of Doom and Smite, and I think I rolled 3 dice for that. So 1 CP, I rolled 3 dice, dropped the lowest. So that's how we did some more mortal wounds to this guy. And then all that's left is a squad of Plague Marines, which lasted till the very end, and this tank. So that's all he's left. I basically control the whole board. So I literally had to kill that tank, which the Dreadknight Grandmaster charged it, killed it, move on to the objective, got rid of his banner objection or mission, and we killed the Plague Marines. So basically tabled them, and we wound up winning that game 94. So first game was 95 points, next game was 93 points, last game was 94 points, for a total of 282 points. Second place was 3-0, was 228 points. So we beat it by almost like 56 points. And then third place, Jesse, he's the last guy we played. Super nice dude. Death Guard as well. He was in third place with 2 wins and 256 points. Guy in fourth lost by 1 point, 255 points. So Jesse had 100 points his first game, 87 points his second game, and this game against me, he had 69 points. So it was funny because at the end of the game, he was like, this is the first time I lost in a while. And this is the first time back for me, but this is the third Death Guard game I had today. So I kind of knew what I wanted to do with the list after 2 other games of shunting around, doing all that stuff. So that was the 3 things. Those were the points and everything. Now, we'll go over what I took away from these 3 games, and we'll go over the list that I used. All right. So we'll go over the list. This is what we used. Let me know what you think about it. This is the first tournament I ran in a very long time. First one, obviously with the Dreadknight CODEX, we got maybe 1 game with this list, but I've been trying similar strategy throughout the whole time. So we kind of know what it does. So we'll go over everything. And then what really helped throughout the games, we'll kind of throw that in here as well. So we'll start off with the HQs. We have a Librarian. Now, the kind of thing that you want to do with the Librarian is if you want to keep him on the board, you can use him as like kind of support piece. I have mine as a straight nuker. So we have him taking a Warlord. So he has this thing so he can take a Warlord trait. He has the Force Halberd just to kind of have a Halberd. Vortex of Doom does 2d3 mortal wounds, and with his Warlord trait, it adds an additional mortal wound for Witchfire. Remember, Smite is not Witchfire, so you can't do +1 on the Smite. But Vortex of Doom, so it's 2d3 +1 mortal wound, and Purify Flame. Purify Flame is 9 inches, so if you deep strike with them, you have to spend a CP to extend the range by 6 inches. And if you do that, you can actually like deep strike further away, as long as if you want to shoot something that's closest to you. It's 18 + 6, 24 inches for a Smite, or 12 + 6 for Vortex of Doom, or 9 + 6 for 15 inches for the Purify Flame. So if you're deep striking 15 inches away, you can do 4 mortal wounds for Purify Flame, and then 2d3 +1, and then splash damage, mortal wounds for that. Plus, if you want to spend 1 more CP to cast another spell, that's another Smite, which is either D3, or if you get a big Smite, that's just D6. Like it's ridiculous. So you can do a crap ton of mortal wounds with his nuking potential, but you're probably going to spend 1 to 3 CP for him every time he goes. So it's worth it because mortal wounds are just really easy to come by in Dreadknights, and for him doing the Vortex of Doom and Purify Flame. Purify Flame is only a ward charge of 5, and then the Doom is 7, so you really want to get the Doom off, so you want to roll 3 dice, drop the low. So you really want to do that. So most of the time you can do that, and then maybe cast another power. So it's completely up to you. Most of the time you're probably just going to do 3 CP anyway, so there you go. So save your CP for him. We have Psychic Epitome, that's what I was talking about, where you get the +1 mortal wound. Basically, you're just going to target yourself every single time. And he actually brought a combi melter with him. So he actually had a combi melter. I think I only shot it once all day because every time he came down, I completely forgot about it. So he shot it maybe once. I think I missed with it, but he had a combi melter. And this down here, he had 2 Psycannons in here for the 10 points, but I took those out and just ran 4 Silencers. So that's kind of why this wasn't in. And then the Nemesis Dreadknight. Did he have anything else? Oh, and he had the Foretelling of Locus. So that's the redeploy 3 people. So that was on the Librarian. Then the Nemesis Dreadknight. Oh, I'm sorry. And he had the Shunt. So if somebody targeted him, right here, Sigil of Exigence, somebody targeted him with a range attack, which nobody did because they all knew about it, he then would get teleported away. And I almost baited the last guy into it. I was like, "Are you sure you don't want to shoot him?" He's like, "All right, I'll shoot my flamers at him." I'm like, "All right, fine." And I was like, "All right, he's gonna teleport." I was like, "I'm just kidding." In a tournament in GTA, you probably wouldn't tell anybody this, but in the last game, I was like, "I'm just messing with you." He has the teleport shunt. If you don't want to shoot him, that's fine. You don't have to. He's like, "All right, I'm not gonna shoot him." I was like, "All right, cool." And then he charged him, and he died. But just be a nice guy, have fun. Don't be a dick. So Nemesis Dreadknight, Grandmaster, he had a teleport, which I didn't do all day. It's 2 CP. It's just so much CP. But having it to fall back for 1 CP is definitely worth it, just to bring for 10 points. He had 2 Warlord traits, which one of them I'll tell you didn't really come into play. Gated Infinity, which is clutch. Empyric Amplification, which I only casted once, because Nurgle all day. It's -1 damage. So I was going to try to cast this more, but it's only a range 12 spell, and it's a 7 to cast. So this is a really good spell, but on Nurgle, it's not that good. It's okay, you get you 2 damage for the Psycannons, but usually everything else just goes down to 1 damage anyway. So it's not the best for Nurgle. But we played Nurgle all day. And then we had first of the Fray, so he has an 8-inch charge if he deep strikes, which is very good on him. An Unyielding Anvil. We were testing this out. So he is OBSEC, and then anybody within 6 inches of also is OBSEC. If they're already OBSEC, it counts as 1 additional. So this is really good, especially if you have a lot of interceptors jumping around, going all over the table. Basically, they become OBSEC. Same with your Dreadknights core. So they become OBSEC. So basically, everything on the table, I think it's within 6. Yeah, Greatknight's core and Greatknight's character. So basically, any character, including himself, Drago, all these people, and also core. So Dreadknights, their core. So that is pretty cool if you want to bring more essentially OBSEC, because I had 4 troop choices in this list. Then he basically made it 5 plus anybody around him. Then we brought a sword. Everybody had a sword on today. Servant of the Throne, so you had the 3++. That came in handy, especially with the Obliterators. So that was clutch. And then nothing down here. So that was the loadout. Psycannon Silencer on all the Dreadknights. Him, really good, just 2-up. You put the Psychic, Epitome, or whatever on him where it's +1 strength, +1 AP. So he hits on 2s, wound on 2s or 3s, +1 AP. Like, it's really, really good. Then we got Drago. Drago should be in every freaking list. If you're on a tournament, just bring Drago. He's just so good. 3+ save, like invuln save. He has Gate, Vortex Doom, and Warp Shaping, or he's your Warp Shaper. So anytime you need him to change his warp, usually you start out in Shadows, and then you change it to the Nemesis one. Never changed any of the other ones, besides the one that I told you where he had a Gate away. And that was it. So most of the time it was Nemesis, which actually played out in the last game because we rolled a lot of mortal wounds on 6s. I was like, oh yeah, and 6s mortal wounds. So then it like took away Terminators, took away damage, all that stuff. So very, very good to have that warp shaping, and he can bring 3 powers. He doesn't need to cast it every turn, but he'll cast Vortex Doom or Smite or Gate himself and Smite, whatever it may be. So, and then we have 4 strikes. They all have silencers because they're free, and then all of them had halberds. So every single one of them had a halberd. So they're like the backfield peeper. So they're like the reinforcements. So they're all strength 6, -2 AP, 2 damage. Pretty cool. I like the halberds. The swords are all on the interceptors because they're running 4. They're freaking kamikaze people. They're just charging in. One Purify squad, I highly recommend bringing one of these squads. It's an extra power that is just so good. Just 3 mortal wounds, and also they have 2 incinerators for free. So if they get charged, you get to at least flame some people. They all have halberds, or at least 3 have halberds, and they have the Purify Flame. So it's just an extra psychic power that you don't do when you come down, but at least they'll probably survive if you put them in a safe spot, and then they can at least smite or control an objective or cast a psychic power on an objective, and the next turn they walk up and do Holy Flame, which is great. It's all 115 points that they usually just deep strike in somewhere behind enemy lines, flame, shoot storm bolters, and then either try and charge or set defense and just get charged. And then we have 3 fast attack, 5-minute, everything's 5-minute units. And why I do 5-minute units instead of combat squatting, you can combat squad if you do like 30 interceptors. But if you just do 2 squads of 5, you have another Justicar. If you combat squad, you only have 1 Justicar, 1 unit doesn't have a Justicar. So making sure that you remember which unit has what, if it's not proxied correctly, make sure you remember that. They all have swords. So it's testing out the swords. The swords are okay into Plague Marines. Wound on 4s, because strength 5, but -3 AP and 2 damage. Not bad. So they're all just basic. All swords, no guns. And then the 3 Dreadknights. So the Dreadknights, Psycannon, Silencer, Sword, no teleporters. I think 2 CP is just so expensive, and you can only do it once per turn. So once per game, it's just so expensive. I start with 10 CP in this matchup. So that was the squad. What we loved about this list is the 4 strike squads. Like I never ran 4 before; it was always 3. I probably could take 1 out, and then I have 110 points. Like if I just change one of those strike squads, I can then have 110 points for something else. I don't know what else. Maybe a character. Just kind of do something. I don't know. I might try that next time. Just take one strike squad out and see if there's a character worth taking for 110 points. We'll see. And then also the Brotherhood. We didn't talk about this. Exactors. They have, if you're in melee range and you cast a psychic power, I think it's a 5, roll a dice for every single mod on the unit. I didn't come across a horde today, but think about like Tyranids, think about orcs, think about guard. Guard would be sick. You then do 1 mortal wound for everything on a 4-up. So let's say I have 1 guy left in my unit. It's my psychic phase. I roll a psychic power of a 5, and then I roll a dice for every single mod on that unit. Boom, 30 dice. Every 4-up, so 50-50 shot, they take 1 mortal wound. If the Psychic manifests its power while having Psychic Epitome, the enemy unit suffers 1 additional mortal wound. So imagine, I don't know, 50-50 shot, you roll 30 dice, let's say 15 go through. Now you basically did 30 mortal wounds. Didn't get to try it because nobody survived in combat longer than a turn. But yeah, I thought it was a really, really cool psych power. Like, I really wanted to test it out. Didn't really, because anybody could cast it. Like, they're all doing it. So the Dreadknights could have casted it, but the Dreadknights are usually going after bigger targets. And Hammerhand's really good, especially with the sweep attack. So I didn't get to try it. Also, they have 1 CP and you can heroic intervene. Now, when I told all my opponents this, they basically stay out of 3 inches of every single person on the table. And Dreadknights are really hard to heroic intervene, especially trying to get their big-ass base around the building or through terrain or whatever it may be. It's very hard to do. So my list specifically, probably not the best for Exactors, but it was very good. Didn't cast any of the powers. I did heroic intervene once. So not good for the tournament. I probably should have went with Sword Bearers. I've been playing that most of the time. That and Rapiers. Rapiers also is another one, but I don't have a lot of units, so I probably could have did I don't know if Rapiers is infantry only, where you get +1 attack, or anybody could get +1 attack, because I would do, I don't know if it doubles the attack with the sweep attack. Like, let's say they start with 5 attacks. I do the Rapiers spell. I get up to 6 attacks. Do I then double that to 12? Or do I go 10 + 1, which is 11? Somebody answer that, because I don't know. Yeah, Vortex Doom, really good. Gate, really good. And all the smites, the normal smites, D3 smites, and then adding 1 every time you cast it, also very good. That's kind of the biggest thing we took out. Is Death Guard does not like mortal wounds, and we did a lot of mortal wounds all freaking day. We did roll pretty good too, and they rolled pretty shitty. But it was kind of even, because like I rolled a lot. But by that time, by that point of the game, I was rolling 1s and 2s, and it was already like swayed towards my favor. So I was like, "Look, I rolled 10 1s." He's like, "Yeah, but it's too late." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm sorry." I had to apologize, guys. I had to have apologized maybe 50 times today, and I'm smiling. We're laughing like the whole time. I'm like, "Bro, dude, I'm so sorry." And it's a dice game. You can't get angry over statistics, law of averages in a dice game. Eventually, the law of averages play in factor, where if you've been rolling really hot, eventually you're going to be rolling really shitty. If you've been rolling really shitty, eventually you're going to be rolling really, really hot. It's just law of averages, statistics. That's all this game is. So just have fun. And at the moment, you might get heated. Like all my opponents were just like done by turn 3. They were just zoned out, except for the last guy, Jesse. We played till turn 5. But by turn 2, he was like, game's over. You killed him. And I was like, bro, it's good. You're still in this. And then finally, the 4th and 5th, he was like really into it, because he's like coming back. We basically counted every single turn, how many points we were at. Like, it was such a close game because we were top table. So by the end, he had 69 or 63 points. I had 73. So I already won on the points. I just wanted to max out so I didn't lose the tournament. So he's helped me out, figuring out what I had to do, what I had to kill, where I had to go, what things I had to do. So all my opponents were super nice, helping me, because again, this is still only my 8th game, 7th or 8th game. I had 3 today, so 9th game in 9th edition, and my 9th game back from a 8-year hiatus. So it's been a freaking long ass time. I sat out 2 editions. So 3 editions. Yeah, 2 editions. So I sat out 8, 7, and 8. Actually 3. Holy shit. 6, 7, and 8. I think I sat out. I don't know. It was a long time. But come back. Loved it. Great day. Alternate universes in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. If you guys are interested in getting some games in, hit me up. Join the Discord. The link is in the description below. If you guys want to kind of talk about, I was about to say raid. Wow. Talk about 40k. Talk about lists, posts, pictures, post videos of games. I post all my YouTube stuff on there, and also some tournament lists. And this YouTube is brand new, but I want to get up to 1,000 so that way we can start streaming live events. We're going to try and stream on Twitch. I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but we're going to try and figure it out. And also I'm going to try and stream on YouTube just normally. Like we're going to have maybe somebody monitor it and read the comments, kind of like what most of the Wargaming people do, but it's more of like tournament based, not strictly just fun. It's going to be fun, but with a tournament setting. Because you can't play this game and not have fun. You can't play this game angrily. You can't get angry over a dice game. You can get heated, take a breath, realize that, hey, it's whatever. We're coming out to play 3 games and have fun. You spend $10 and you get to play 3 games and hang out with a bunch of cool people all day. You can't beat that. That's a good time. So guys, I appreciate it. Thank you again for clicking on the video. Hopefully this helped you, enjoyed it, liked it. I don't know. Let me know. Comment, like, do all that fun stuff. And we'll post 1 or 2 battle reports. I have 2 recorded. I got to edit them. One's against Necrons. One's against Custodes. So those are going to be coming up this week. And I'm playing on Monday against, what are we playing? The Dark Eldar, which I don't think they're called Dark Eldar anymore. That's how long it's been. And I heard they were really freaking good. So this guy Nolan, I don't want to face him because he's the guy who came in second today. He's the guy who came in second. He went 3-0 with him, Drakari, I think that's it. And I haven't played him yet, but we're buddies, and he won't play me until the next tournament on Saturday. I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what the hell these guys do, so I'm gonna get blown away. So Monday, I don't care what happens. I'm gonna try and record it if they allow me, and we're gonna see how bad we do. To it. I'm going to run same list. I said I'm going to take out the 1 strike squad. We're going to change it to another Brotherhood, and we're going to see if we can add somebody. If I can't add anybody, I'm just going to keep the 4 strike squads. And yeah, we're going to try that out. So guys, I appreciate it. Again, thanks for clicking on the video. If you guys want to subscribe, these videos will eventually pop up for you guys if you are subscribed. And again, if you want to join the Discord to hit me up and want to get a game in, let me know. And guys, we'll see you in the next 2 bat reps.